The rules are simple for this challenge. Black Orc heroes and units only. I can keep Y units, and of course, playing Legendary very hard difficulty. Without wasting time, I recruit 3 Black Orc heroes so I can have them in my army next turn. I built a garrison first to improve the defences of my settlement, as I can't build a bigger army for a good while. With 3 heroes in my army, I underweight into Ogre territory. I wasted no time and rushed Grimgor, as that settlement has a building that both enables recruitment of Black Orcs and buffs them quite well. I sieged this building but didn't attack, as I wanted the ogres to attack me so I didn't have to deal with navigating the walls and all that. All I wanted from this fight was to really bruise their army by doing some decent damage but not taking too much myself. What I want in reality, however, are 2 very different things, because I lost 1/3 the units this guy did, but his army is over 20 times larger than mine, which makes for a truly shocking performance. I do get to keep all my units though, so not all is bad. After retreating, I thought I should try and take a minor settlement before I go back to the capital. I also recruited another lord in case an army comes for the only settlement I had. His life was very short-lived, unfortunately. Better luck next time, Nash. Luckily, Nash was very much replaceable, so no time was wasted mourning him. I didn't expect a decisive order resolve here, but I'll take it. On turn 8, I lost my starting settlement, which marks the end of the video. Thanks for watching. Did I get you? No? Alright, fair enough. Because they are at the other settlement, that leaves the one I need wide open. So, at the cost of a Black Orc unit, we take it. If we can live long enough to build Big Fort, we will be set for the campaign, so that's all we have to do, just stall as long as we can. I got incredibly lucky and hit the jackpot with the Ogre Mercenary camp location popping up on my settlement. This building gives plus 100 relations with Ogres. This means I won't need to stall as long, and I can potentially get a peace treaty and build Big Fort quite soon. I decided to use this fella Big Jenkins to, well, I used him as bait, so he would stall another turn. Thank you, Jenkins. Here's Jenkins hard at work. Jenkins' sacrifice split the Ogre armies up, landing the bigger army right at Carrick's doorstep, just where we want them. I was able to do a war, which, of course, I did, to hopefully put enough pressure on the Ogres to accept a peace treaty. The other Ogre army tried to take the settlement, but with several lords and a garrison, they simply weren't strong enough. With the last of Fog's military power, they finally decided peace was a good idea. Unfortunately, we weren't safe just yet as a dwarf rebellion spawned. I tried to weaken the army with a lord manually, but I'll spare you the wasted time, it didn't go too well. Luckily, the turn after, a Gold-Tooth army came just in range of the rebellion, which helped me defeat them. First I'm getting robbed this campaign, but I have no chance of winning a war against this guy, so I'm just going to wait until I unlock Black Orcs. So for now, Astrogoth gets away with it. Turn 16, Grimgor reached tier 2, which means I just have 1 more tier to go. Big Greasus is currently the most powerful person in the campaign, so of course I'm going to accept this. Here's some more robbing I can't do anything about yet. Finally now I can start building Big Fort, so soon we'll be able to start finally taking territory. Just as it was seeming I was safe, some treacherous orcs declared war on me. My main army luckily intercepted their underway, catching them early, and surprisingly they were able to take the army alone. After defeating that army, I can confederate them, making that a very short war. I didn't get anything good from it, but I'm safe again, so that's good. Miao Ying decided the money I gave earlier wasn't nearly enough and took a humble 16k off my hands. Thank you very much, Miao Ying. But who cares about that? I'm safe, and now is when the campaign gets good because I've finally unlocked Black Orcs. The recruitment cost is quite brutal, but it's definitely worth it for sure. Upgrading these Black Orcs can really push them to being the melee monsters they're meant to be. Now I finally felt my army was strong enough to take on a fight, but the first guy I found humbled me very quickly, so I had to retreat. I decided I wanted to fight Greasus as he had 1. Started dropping in strength, and 2. He had a settlement in the only province I had, which was quite annoying, blocking me from commandments, so yeah. Only problem is I need to wait 10 turns after breaking a non-aggression pact to avoid treachery, but I was okay with that. But As Total War likes to do, that plan was shut down and Ostrogoth declared war. Now that Ostrogoth has declared war, I need to try and hopefully restore relations with Greasus and do my best to fend off Ostrogoth. Turn 43 I spotted one of Ostrogoth's armies, but luckily it was mostly bad units, except for the Iron Demons. I was pleasantly surprised, however, finding out how much raiding Chaos Dwarf territory makes. 1700 a turn is fucking ridiculous. My first fight with Ostrogoth went incredibly well. Let's hope his Black Orcs can keep it up. That fight gave Grimgor enough experience to unlock 2 more Black Orc areas and buff all of the Black Orcs with higher charge and armor piercing. With that army down, I started pursuing settlements. With the money I had left over, I recruited the last orcs I needed to make my army a full stack. I also worked on mending relations further with Greasus. With a full stack of Black Orcs, I continued to take Ostrogoth settlements. On turn 50, because I had a strong enough army, I decided to do a quest battle to get the axe Gitsnik, which boosts Grimgor and makes recruiting cheaper. As a safety measure, I paid Greasus to join the war against Ostrogoth. I did another quest battle to get Grimgor Bloodforged armor, which further boosts him, making him an absolute fucking menace in combat. I continued past Blizzard Peak, but spotted a Chaos Dwarf army that was far more powerful than the one I had killed before, so I backed off. I retreated back, so if he does attack, I'll have the garrison's aid to hopefully increase my odds of winning. He pushed forward, but couldn't reach my settlement, but I still tried to attack him, and surprisingly, it was a win. I initiated a war against Ostrogoth to give all my units plus 10 melee strength. With that powerful army dead, nothing was around to stop me from taking more settlements. Because I saw an army that was really far away from Saber Mountains, I decided, why not take that as well? I checked if I could make a treaty by giving away a settlement. Turns out I could, but there's no chance of letting Ostrogoth live. With the rate I was growing, I decided a second army would serve me well. I got robbed by the Chaos Dwarf behind me, which I only accepted because I didn't have a strong enough army nearby. Thank God I accepted, because look at what appeared at Grimgor's feet. 5 different fucking armies. Honestly, to my surprise, it doesn't matter how many armies Ostrogoth has when he goes up against Black Orcs. Like, look at this. Doomstack of Black Orcs can take on 3 different armies without losing a single unit. That fight, by the way, made me 21 grand, which is absolutely ridiculous. After what I did to 3 armies, I think you can imagine what happened when I went up against only 1. The 5th army was far more powerful than any of the other armies, mainly due to 3 Dreadquake mortars, which can just absolutely obliterate infantry. Despite that, I still get a close victory auto-resolve, which I was more than happy to accept. With no armies in sight, I continued my rampage. After both recruiting and upgrading this regiment of renowned Black Orc, I had not just a full stack of Black Orcs, but a full stack of upgraded Black Orcs. I got caught off guard by this hidden army, but thankfully it was just well outmatched. Now that they definitely don't have any powerful armies around, I charged their capital. Looting and occupying made a whopping 22k to add to my growing wealth. In addition to that money, the settlement has a building that reduces the upkeep of all Black Orc units, which is obviously a great help. With my weaker army, I took the final settlement in the province, Great Skull Lakes. To ensure the Chaos Dwarfs didn't have a fighting chance, I needed to eradicate them ASAP. I also joined a military alliance with Big Greasus, as we shared the same enemies and he's far more powerful, which will be helpful. I made a crucial mistake and missed the fact that the Chaos Dwarves lived both above and under the territory I took. Luckily, I was able to retreat. I sought Arbor with settlement so he wouldn't come after me while I fought the dwarves. Because Ostrogoth is also under my settlements, I made another army to head for those lower ones. I was too slow, however, and actually lost one of my armies. Cleaning them up with Grimgor was easy, so it wasn't too far of a setback. The one army I had sent down to check for those Chaos Dwarf settlements found not 1 but 2 that I had to take. I discovered 2 weak armies on my lands and managed to kill one, but the other one escaped. The next turn, that slippery fucker underweight away, so I chased him. Annoyingly, because both my armies were occupied, somehow Ostrogoth had another army that sacked Uzkolak. I didn't want my two armies separated for too long, so while I took Silver Pinnacle, I ordered Greases to take their settlement below it. Something really weird happened after that, where the order resolve seemed to be way off, saying valiant defeat against the army far weaker than what I've killed. I retreated, as I wanted to see if I could fix it, or if it truly was just a defeat. I was thinking I was giving a defeat because there were some flying units and I only had melee, but no, I remember I definitely killed armies earlier with flying units, so one of those armies took a settlement, but that's whatever, I'll get it back. Mine, they took 2 settlements, now I'm starting to really get concerned. Then they attacked me. I decided I'd manually fight this and target the flying units to see if that'd fix the fucking shocking order resolve. It's ridiculous how mmany armies this guy has, but of course not as ridiculous as Black Orcs, so we still ran through this third army. Again, I got an auto resolve that looked bogus, but I could lightning strike it, so it didn't matter. Because of all of these fights, I could finally upgrade my second army with scrap, which is obviously nice. Of course, some more robbing. And I got dragged into a war. Luckily it's Clan Moors who are quite far from me, so they're not too much of a threat just yet. I wasn't 100% certain before, but now it's definitely settled. The order resolved here is completely fucked. I'm assuming because the Dreadquake Mortar and my army's all infantry, it just completely overestimates what the Dreadquake would do. But yeah, I just ended up retreating. I recruited another lord that was a shaman to shoot down the last flying creature. Here it is again. Followed by some routine robbing. Despite the weird stuff going on, I continued taking settlements from Ostrogoth. I still didn't want a war with Arbor yet, which was becoming more and more of a possibility, so I gave him another settlement. I finally caught the army with the shaman, but that didn't really work out. I got another opportunity to kill the flying unit, and actually finally succeeded. I'm surprised after all these defeats Ostrogoth's taken, he's still producing decent armies, but that's just the legendary cheats they get for you. Malagor chose a bad time to declare war and took a settlement from me, the slippery bastard. There's no turning back now though. Ostrogoth only has 3 settlements. I have to do everything I can to make sure he's completely wiped out. I was so confused for a second about what happened here, but turns out Skarsnik was just hanging out on my land and helped me finish off this army. I took back the settlement Malagor took quite easily. The fucker had another hidden army unfortunately and took another settlement. Ignoring that, I only need Grimgor to take 2 more settlements, then I'd be able to send him back. Because I didn't really care about these settlements, I gave one to Katarin for military access. I got ambushed by Malagor using Stalker, but I figured there's no way he's an army more powerful than mine, so I just auto-resolved it for a win. Ostrogoth, even only having 1 settlement, is still able to churn out armies really fast. Luckily, they're getting weaker and weaker with each settlement I take. Malagor wants peace all of a sudden, but he can fuck off with that. Now Ostrogoth is homeless, he has no choice but to fight me. Right after that, I took back what Malagor had taken and completely wiped him out. Somehow the game reckons this lord would survive this. And with that, Ostrogoth is finally destroyed. still felt too early to call this a win, so I declared war on Throg. Throg threw 3 different armies at me, but they still didn't stand a chance against Black Orcs. I proceeded to just run through Throg's settlements. This had me thinking Arbol should be my next target, as he's more powerful and has settlements I want. Turns out me and Arbol are on the same wavelength, because he just broke our last bit of diplomacy between us. I was expecting the Dark Elves to finish Throg off here, but they didn't, so I had to do it myself. With Throg down, I initiated a war on Arbol. I should have waited for Grimgor's army to return as things began to get out of hand. I found 2 corn armies that would annihilate my army, so I had to retreat. Problem with that was there wasn't much defending my settlements, which was a huge mistake. Grimgor was going to take several turns to return, so all I had was 2 weak armies to attempt to fend off Arbol. Things kept going downhill as Arbol took out the stronger army of my 2 with complete ease. While also raising my settlements. Meanwhile, more robbing had to occur during this, of course. I was able to take back a settlement, but now it's annoyingly set back to tier 1. I returned the favour, burning one of Arbol's settlements while I could. On Grimgor's trip back, I went to a shipwreck that gave Grimgor and his army plus 25% physical resistance, which was just a massive help against Arbol. The Legion of Chaos declared war on turn 98, which was really annoying, but luckily he isn't too strong, so it should be fun. Same turn, Greece has declared war on Azag, which I had to temporarily join, but I made sure to make peace, as that's 1 war too many, and I'd definitely get wiped out. I didn't see it at the time, but it would take me 2 turns until I could fight this battle, which left my army quite vulnerable the entire time. Another fight I didn't feel I could win, so I retreated. What I did after was even dumber, leaving my army out in the open. I did have another 20 stack coming, so that mistake wouldn't be too bad, but still damaging. I lost that army obviously because of what I did. Finally though, I had an unbelievably powerful Grimgor army back and ready to start killing Arbol's armies. I manually fought this fight just to try and target a couple of the really weak units with my lord and then leave. Flying fucker decided he had enough and just started floating above my guys, so I had to move on to another unit. Not exactly worth it, but I was happy to finish 2 of those really powerful units and get away. I still ended up losing the army in the end. I gave Katarun Fort Wahaslav, yeah I hope I said that right, as every time I take it and try to upgrade it, next turn, in 2 turns I always lose it, so I thought I should trade it for an alliance. Funnily enough, Arbol wanted peace now. I knew this auto-resolve was complete bullshit, so I had to fight it. With Katarin's help and manual fighting, Arbu didn't really stand a chance of defending his land anymore. And with that fight, Arbu was eradicated. Before I'd end this campaign, I wanted to eliminate one more person. I ended up going to war with 3, being Archaon and his 2 vassals. The bastard, however, neglected his own settlements and vassals and just targeted my weak settlements I took from Throg earlier on. I tried to get Katarin to kill him, but she played me and didn't even deal with him until he took my settlements so she could take them for her own. Okay, truth is I don't know if that's a fact, it just felt that way. I proceeded to take his vassal settlements. As you can see here, Katarin went right past Archaon and just took my settlement, which, gotta be honest, felt like a big fuck you, but, you know. I ended up losing a weak army while Katarin was fluffing about. This fuck took another settlement. But finally, Katarin maybe felt bad and finished them off for me. And in that turn, the last 2 factions I was at war with were eliminated too. I don't even realize that the Legion of Chaos had died, but they did at some point. That leaves me here at turn 120 at a decent strength position, not at war with anyone, and a decent chunk of land. And it's here that I'd say, if not I have won, I definitely will win, but yeah, I'd definitely consider this a win.